Well, Monaco's run to the semi-finals of the Champions League last season, they had a number of stars, Craig Burley. One of the more unheralded ones was Tamuri Bakayoko, who's been linked with a move to Chelsea. What's your take on this?
Well, last summer it was all the talk was Fabinho, and who is still, there is still talk of his transfer being imminent and doing the rounds. But Bakayoko was one of those in there in the middle of the park, or in midfield, who did impress as the season went on. Again, we go back to all the attributes. He's young, he's physical, he's aggressive in the challenge, he gets around the field, he's tidy on the ball, and he's got energy to burn. That's what your modern midfielder in the Premier League in England has to have, or it's better to have. And he's got that in abundance. He's perfect for Conte's style. And I think this will happen, and again it'll roll onto the Nemanja Matic, whether he stays or goes. But I think Bakayoko, and has been talked about for weeks, looks like he's coming into Chelsea.
Now, former Chelsea player Ray Wilkins kind of said, well, why do we need to spend 35 million on a player when they've got Nathaniel Chalobah, who's the same age and the same position? Do you feel that young English talent at the academy is finding it harder and harder? You were there, you came through the ranks. It's different now, isn't it? Yeah,
it was. I wouldn't want to be at any of the big clubs in England now if I was a youngster. I mean, I spent nearly 10 years at Chelsea, and two and a half of those were with the youth team. But there was always an opportunity, and it's not a dig at Chelsea, because it's a dig, I think, at the club spending big money across the Premier League, and we're not seeing the youngsters coming through. Look, it's easy from the outside to say, stick with the youngsters, but Conte is paid to deliver. He's not paid to bring through young kids, right? Coaches are in and they're out within 2 or 3, maybe 4 years. Bakayoko has proven himself over a full season nearly at Monaco, including the Champions League. Chalobah may be a talented young man, but there are no guarantees. So I don't see that being relevant to the current Chelsea coach.
But is there a message here and a concern for youngsters maybe wanting to choose a club? Ruben Loftus-Cheek is probably the only young English player there who is in their first team squad. Solanke's been let go. He's allowed to go to Liverpool. Would there be a concern if you were a young, talented player that, well, I don't know if I'll get a chance at Chelsea, I might look elsewhere?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And they've got all these players out on loan as well, and it's the nature of the business since Abramovich came in.
Yep.
It was, the foundations were laid. We're going to spend money. We're going to spend money big, and I want trophies, and I want to be the best in Europe. I want to be the best in England. I want to get the best coaches, and I don't care what it costs. Right? When that's happening, when you're a youngster, you can forget it. You might as well pack up your bags and go somewhere else. It's not only Chelsea, but it's a big problem there.
One of the best left-backs in Europe was Alex Sandro.
So was Alonso last year.
He was.
Well, in England.
Yeah, but, I mean, this is 61 million. They're linked with Alex Sandro of Juventus. He's a guy who's not first choice for his country, and Marcelo has been playing. He's a kind of first choice. Wow. Plus, you got Felipe Luis for his country as well. He played recently.
I think we can excuse him than Marcelo.
Exactly, but would he be a good signing for Chelsea? 61 million?
I tell you what, I'd never pay that for a full-back.
It's the going rate these days.
But, I understand. Look, if he is to be signed, that's telling you that Conte was happy with Alonso, but not totally convinced with Alonso. Don't forget Moses played wing-back on the other side, and so they'll be looking in that position as well, unless Azpilicueta's going to go and play there. Alex Sandro's a very good player. He had a great season at Juventus, didn't have a great Champions League final, but it's just up to the manager. I mean, is he a better player than Alonso? I think he probably is a better player, but I would feel sorry for a player who had such a good season last year, like Alonso did, just to be given the old Spanish archer, out you go.
You wonder, though, if maybe Alonso might be tweaked into another position. We've seen him play at centre-back. We've seen him play in the midfield as well.
Well, maybe he could play left-sided centre-back of a back three. We saw Azpilicueta play right side of a back three last year, which is not his natural position, but did a great job. So possibly, but yeah. I mean, Conte wants assurances. We're going to go big, and we're going to spend big, and I want big players, because we're in the Champions League again next year, and I don't settle for failure. And I think that's the battle he had with the board over the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Certainly be a statement of intent for Chelsea if they can go to Juventus and pick one of their best players and sign him. That would say that they can flex their financial muscle, so other teams in other countries better watch out.